What's up, everybody? Welcome to From Boys to Men, the podcast, and we are excited as usual to have y'all here with us. So, we know that we haven't had an episode in a couple weeks.
Facts.
We apologize.
We do.
But it literally has only been because we had a couple of personal things going on. One of the biggest things is, or the biggest thing, honestly, is the fact that my man's Chuck, who is very much on the phone right now, is over here. Yeah, I called you out. Is definitely, he had a new baby boy.
Hey.
We gotta give him a hand clap for that, man. Super dope. Little baby Eli. I told him.
I was on the phone looking at his pictures.
Wow. That's a good cleanup, I guess. We can't
refault that.
Yeah, we don't know if it's true or not, actually.
Yeah, we don't.
So we'll go with it.
I'm gonna say it's not true, but we gonna.
Wow. Don't ever look like that again. Anyway, so
We're gonna cut that out.
But yeah, so he had his baby boy, man. It's been a couple of weeks. Super cute little dude, man, and we are excited. We can't wait till he's on the podcast, though. That's really gonna be the dopest thing.
Factual.
You know what I'm saying? Get his DJ Khaled on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We the best.
We the best.
All right.
And another one in 2 years.
Praise up. So anyway, so
this is where we at, y'all. This is where we at.
Hey man, y'all know we like to have fun, man. We like to just enjoy ourselves and give y'all a little laugh here and there, even if it's a little corny, because anyway,
A little. Okay.
But so this week we gotta have a good old talk about. Well, y'all know we gotta wait to get y'all the topic. We gonna go ahead and have this good old
Story time with Don. This man creepy, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you that.
The looks are getting worse and worse.
Anyways, yo, what up, good peoples? How y'all living? You know what I'm saying? One time for the one time. It's your boy Don before Nick in the building all day, every day. You know. Okay.
What?
Short and sweet, brother. Short and sweet. That's how you do it. No, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet to the point with this story, though. Ain't nothing too big, you know what I'm saying? I had one, then I lost it, then I got another one, because, I got a bunch of stories in my brain that always go around. So, anyways.
You busted rhymes now?
Wow. Anyways, so.
What is happening?
That's a couple years ago, whatever. I think I was like, what was I driving? I don't remember what I was driving, but anyways. Pulled up to my guys at the crib or whatever. They was doing a barbecue. My nieces and nephews was there. Y'all know Shantae, so. But
You ain't have to put her name out there, but yeah, we know.
But whatever. Anyway, so we over there chilling. They barbecuing. Then all of a sudden, here come my nieces and nephews like, "Oh, Uncle Don, we gonna catch you." You know how Uncle, how you be like, "No, you can't." Like I still got the quickness in me.
This fool's out here racing kids.
No, I wasn't racing. They was trying to catch me. I was ducking and dodging. Weaving. What's the 5 Ds? Dip, duck, dodge, dip, and dodge, something like that. So, anyways.
What is happening, man?
So, anyways, I'm doing all that. And then, I full sprint. I had on sweats, though.
Oh, God.
So, I'm like, whatever.
He was wearing J's, wasn't he?
No. No, I wasn't.
That's actually a surprise. But go ahead.
Anyway, so.
Wearing forces.
I probably was wearing forces, though. You're probably right. But anyway, so I'm dipping on them. It was all fun and games. Then all of a sudden, my niece, she all of a sudden just, turned it over and started actually getting some speed. I was like, hold on, I gotta, hit the gears real quick. I hit the gears. My legs move. My feet was moving too. But about 10 feet in, there was a curb because I tried to jump into the street. Just know I didn't land correctly. I had to tumble, right? Hit a tumble, right? Just know I just rolled another 3 feet on the ground. My left shoe came off.
His shoe came off? He was wearing black Air Force Ones.
So, granted, I still got away, but I
Did
fell.
you?
From my niece and nephew, yeah.
Does
From the ground? No,
does
I
it
didn't get away
really?
from the ground.
Does it really still count though?
Right.
If you so-called got away, but you almost killed yourself, is that really?
I ain't almost killed myself. I had 2 scratches on my knee and everything, but I was alright. Put some hydrogen peroxide on it. some Neosporin with a Band-Aid.
Scraped your knee like it was the first time riding a bike, huh?
Hey, the pedal got me.
Nah, I think the curve got you.
No, I got myself because I slid. Like, I jumped the curve and slid, and then fell, and then rolled, and like another 3 feet.
Wait, what?
You know how you run, right? And you try to, you do the wrong
His
steps.
stories sometimes don't align with physics,
Not at all.
so we're not gonna go there again.
Cool. So, anyways, I just want to give y'all a warning. You know what I'm saying? If you're running from your nieces and nephews, make sure you got on a good pair of shoes. Don't try to hop the curve.
Don't wear Air Force Ones. You ain't trying to crease.
That's also that's a hood fact, but keep that. That's
That
real.
is a hood fact.
That's a hood fact. And that was
A story time with the one and only Dom.
He's a unique fella. That's for sure. I don't even know.
I have no words.
I feel like
Do you know what I have actually?
What do you got?
This is what I have to say. As for a segue,
that's it.
that's all I got.
Man, I'm silly. He looking at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, what you about to say? It's about to be funny.
Not just any segue, a bad segue.
As always.
I don't apologize for my actions. It's a story.
we know.
Dom, we are segueing.
We already know you don't apologize. So, anywho. What?
What?
Why you roll like 3 feet, though? That's really the question I have. Like, dog, I can't get away from that.
I couldn't get my balance back, bro. It was over. You got to tuck and roll. Just keep rolling, bro, until you stop. Then I finally stopped.
I feel like he's a little bit more accident prone than you are, Mark.
I know, and that's a shot.
Accident prone and injury prone, two different things.
You're right. Injury prone.
No. He's injury prone. I'm accident prone.
I
actually
can't
not
call
injury
you
prone.
accident prone because most of the times it's not an accident. It's something you doing stupid that caused you to do it.
That's actually a fact.
I give you that sometimes, whatever.
Huh. So,
Today's topic.
yeah. Hi. How you guys doing? You guys doing all right? You good?
Yeah, they clearly forgot that all y'all was here. So
Anybody, anybody else that's still watching at this point, you a real OG. Like, we appreciate you, because these stories sometimes probably, a couple people probably disappear after. And it's okay. It's okay.
it's not okay, but it's reality.
It's
You know-
possible they just fast forward.
You know what?
We're gonna start putting timestamps on here.
Go ahead. If you got to fast forward, we get it.
Yeah, we're gonna start putting timestamps. But anywho,
I disrespecting my story. Y'all see how they treat me? This is stuff I do.
we gonna leave it in there for your fans. But we gonna put timestamps for people who want to actually hear what we got to talk about.
Pretty sure your mom
So-
would like it.
I feel like Dom falls a lot, but
He does.
like falls. Like a
Or
lot.
crashes into things.
That's actually true too. Takes wheels off the chairs. Anyway, so I hope y'all doing well. So the topic today, we got to get into this topic. Comparison. Kind of simple to say it, but it's actually a lot to it. So it's kind of vague if I just say comparison. Like, you can be comparing it, like comparing stuff to anybody, anything, different things of that nature.
Apples to oranges.
But why? Apples to oranges. Got it. So, for another bad segue. So yeah, comparison. So the reason why I wanted to bring up comparison, and of course we gotta have a definition, but we're gonna let you breathe for a second before you do something
Y'all
else.
so disrespectful, bro. So disrespectful.
But
Him tripping over the mic.
but
oh, they coming
ain't
for
even
me.
got to get up. So anyway, so comparison. So what I'm thinking about is, so how many of you all have ever compared yourself or got caught up in comparison when, say, looking at social media, or you know somebody they have a very exciting life, or they do crazy things, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could do that, or I do things like that. I feel like that a lot of us get caught up in comparing our lives with somebody else's,
Possibly.
or just something that we see.
Yeah.
And not necessarily that we may not necessarily envy them, but we start to feel bad sometimes we feel bad about things that are going on in our lives.
Right.
Or we get caught up in trying to mirror what they do. You know, I think a lot, especially like, and I brought up social media because I feel like social media is almost made for us to compare.
Right.
You know, we look
I
at
give you that.
look at like Instagram. It's all about showing pictures, and don't get me wrong, I'm on Instagram. I love Instagram. I think it's cool to be able to share.
Yeah, if I was on Instagram
moments.
from Boys to Men, we on there. All right, cool.
I think it's great to share moments and to be able to have all these opportunities to connect with different people.
Right.
But then there's those times where you see a lot of us, like we get on social media, and I've just heard this from other people as well, where they'll get on social media and they'll see something that somebody else is doing, like a celebrity or something, and they think that's the standard.
Right.
Like, and if they're not doing that, they don't think that their life is good enough. Or they don't have a quality enough work.
Don't ever think that, people. Don't ever think that.
Yeah, like, and so I found myself. One thing that let's go ahead and get a little definition of comparison. Even though I'm sure you all know what comparison means, we just like to have definitions and stuff.
No, facts.
We try to get sponsored by the Oxford. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Hey, Oxford, if y'all see this though, come holler at us. We will gladly take your money.
Man, if you don't
I don't
read
think
this,
they get a lot of funding, but we can go ahead.
you don't read this definition, dog.
My bad. All right, so basically comparison, y'all use the root word compare. To compare, it's a verb using the Oxford. Estimate, measure, or note the similarity or dissimilarity between the things. Another one, number 2, form the comparative or the super. I can't say that word. Super. I can't. What's this word, Dion?
He has a high school education.
I can't even talk to you.
All right.
I don't know that one, bro.
Help him out, man.
What's that one, bro? What's that word right there?
He's struggling over here, man.
I've never seen that.
Exactly. See, we got words out here. They putting. How you put a word that nobody say inside the definition of another word?
So let's just keep going.
All right. So number 1, estimate, measure, or note the similarity or dissimilarity between things.
Thank you. That was
Dom
much
was on a
longer
roll
than I
today, man. I'm
expected.
telling you, Dom was on
That-
a roll, man.
So look, I apologize because I didn't expect that to happen. That was wow. So anywho,
I'm still trying to figure out this word, but go ahead.
ultimately, as they, go through that, I'll talk to you. So ultimately, I know in my life I've had I do music, and I've been doing music for years, right?
Right.
Multitude of times, I've had some success in music, but then also I haven't had, I had this grandiose success that a lot of other artists may
Right.
have. I'm not Drake, okay, and don't get me
not
wrong,
Drake.
I'm not trying to be Drake. Don't get me, I really don't need that in my life. But just the point is, you see other people, and they have greater success, and so it makes you think, hey, I have definitely been in times where I've seen people that may even started when I started.
Right.
And they started to it started to make me question, hey, what am I doing wrong? Am I not doing it right? Or is does my success mount up to theirs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I feel and it made me feel less confident in what I was doing.
Right.
And trying to figure out what I should do next. And I feel like sometimes we can always get caught up in that. Sometimes we get caught up in counting the next man's pockets. You know what I'm saying?
No.
We out here trying to we see somebody else doing something great and they're living good, and you're like, man, and you may not even hate on them particularly, where you're I don't want them to have that, but you're just when is my turn gonna come?
No, I feel
that.
I feel that. No, 100%. I mean, let's go off the basic thing. For me, I ain't gonna hold nobody up. My true story. It took a minute for me to understand how to do school. When I got to high school, college, people like, you got to graduate in 4 years, 4 to 5 years, get a job for 2 years. Society has a certain, stigma about it that you got to follow the certain timeline.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, for your personal success. But in reality, you don't. It took me a couple years to realize, I'm gonna graduate when it's my time to graduate. It's not saying I'm procrastinating or anything. It's just more so of when my time will come, I had to grow and understand that it will come when it's supposed to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had to stop comparing. Because, I see my friends out here, they graduate 3 years and they, get a degree. But then I realize, you get a degree of 3 years, then all of a sudden they rappers. I don't get what happened.
Right.
Right. I used to define myself behind somebody else, some of my friends, because I would, the expectation was you go to school, get your degree, get a job. But then you realize a lot of them didn't get no jobs. All of a sudden, they photographers and videographers and all of a sudden
Right.
Especially in 2021,
That is a job, by the way.
that is definitely a job.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. You went to school. Say you went to school to be an engineer, and all of a sudden,
You doing something completely
yeah,
different.
it was like,
But then mad successful at it too.
yeah,
But that's the thing, though, right? And that when we get caught up, compares ourselves, in that we don't understand that people have, purposes outside of what they expect for themselves in life. So
Right.
even I can sit back and say I compared myself to my expectation of
Yeah.
myself.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
And
Yeah.
growing up, I had this idea that, all right, so I'm from the age of 9 until I got into, I think it was my second year of college, I wanted to become an architect. That was the idea of life for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna become an architect, I'm gonna design buildings, I'm gonna have my name in the lights. People gonna be like, oh man, I wanna meet Dion, the architect, blah blah blah, right? And that was me saying, hey, this is the ideal me. And so I get in college, I'm second year of college, I think it was around like 2008, and the market crash. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out my future. How is this going to look now with the current economy? And I sit down with my professors, and I'm like, what are some of the paths that I should take
Yeah.
to make sure that I have success,
Yeah.
and so that I can meet the goals that I've set for myself. And I get out there, and I'm talking to him, and he tells me, well, you might want to start looking into becoming a teacher, because the likelihood at that point of me getting a job as an architect was slim,
right.
because of the way the market was. Aside from the fact, so if many of you don't know, to become an architect, you have to go to school for 4 years, get your bachelor's degree, go back, get your master's degree, work in your field for 2 years, then come back, take a test that takes 2 days to take, and then you're considered an architect. I was going to have to go through all of that and still not be sure that I was going to have a job after doing all of that.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was like, it's time to adjust.
Yeah.
Right.
And in that process of adjusting, I'm comparing myself to where I thought I was supposed to be,
Yeah.
and I'm not there. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at myself like, dang, man, I should be here. I should be there. I should be further along. I should have this kind of success. I should have this kind of money. I should be living here. I should be driving this car.
Yeah.
And then I look, like Dom said, you look at your friends who have graduated.
Man.
And you like, dang, why can't I be in those shoes? Why can't I live this life? And then you also looking at your friends that decide to go out and do something that's non-traditional with their lives, become photographers, become videographers, do music, do this.
Yeah.
And they have a level of success in it. And you looking like, dang, I want success. And that's really just what you want. But you don't realize that in that comparison, you roadblocking yourself.
Very true. Very
You
true.
know, I'm sitting here, I'm telling myself I should be like this, that, and the other, and I'm not doing what it needs to be done to have the success that I want.
Right.
Right.
That's very true, bro. Because I think it's crazy too that like we'll sit and have this expectation of where we think we should be, like we've done it before.
Right.
Like I always thought,
As you
Like,
say that in my brain, I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, you got a good point.
like I'm what 31 now, about to be 32, and when I got to 30, I thought to myself like, oh man, like I feel like I should be doing certain things, or I should have been here and should have been doing that, and it's
Right,
like,
right.
But and a lot of that does come from just in society we see these things, like we see these things that where we feel like, and somebody may have not directly told us that, hey, you got to be doing this by this time,
Right.
But in your mind, you just see certain things happening, and you feel like you should be doing that by that time.
Right.
And everybody's life is different, you know? And even your own life, like, you never know what may happen in your life. Like, so many different things happen. Like, I know me, like, I've expressed on here many, many times, like, I got hurt. I had a career. I had a nice career or whatever at the airport, and I had been there for years, and I never thought that I would almost be restarting, not even almost, like, restarting another career as I am now. But tell me maybe a year or two ago, I was in a place where I was like, man, like, at my age, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not where I should be. right? And then it's like, but who's to tell you where you should be?
Right.
How are you gonna tell yourself where you'll tell your future self where you should be?
Right.
You don't know what can happen. No, 2020,
Man,
ain't
no one
know,
expected
You
that.
know what I'm saying? Like, and no matter what happened, whether it was good or bad, it's just nobody knew what was gonna happen in that time. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So how can I predict like that I need to be here, or when I'm not, or not even just that? You can have goals. Don't get me wrong. Everybody have goals. Like, but if you don't meet those particular goals at the time you think you should, it's okay. Like Chuck said, adjust. Like,
Seriously.
you gotta adjust in life. You know what I mean? That's something that I've learned as I gotten older. Is trying to figure out how to adjust to whatever's going on in the situation.
Yeah.
Like though, and that thing can be tough. Like, I don't know if you want to share, if you want to jump in. I know you usually never this quiet, so go ahead.
I was letting y'all go. I
kinda
I was waiting for the point. You know,
You the
like,
young
hey,
vibrant, so go ahead.
Nah. Hey, I was letting y'all, all y'all old dogs get y'all stuff off.
Wow.
But
wow.
nah. So basically, I obviously agree with everything that you guys are saying. But I kind of think it's more like it's a perspective thing.
Yeah.
Though, because I think comparisons are bad if your perspective is bad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
elaborate.
Because a lot of times when I look at things, I look at them as motivation, and I think if you compare in that sense, like okay, so he has this that motivates me to work harder.
Yeah.
To know like I can get to that one day. Comparing his work ethic to mine and say what is he doing that I'm not doing. Mm-hmm. I think the issue is when people think of comparisons. What they end up doing is they look at the end result. They look at what that person has right now, but they don't think about or care about what they had to do to get to that point and the work they had to put in to get to that point or get whatever they had.
I can see that.
I wouldn't really call it a comparison rather than a study of a person's journey, right?
I'm saying, but that's what I think people don't study the journey. They only compare themselves to like them where they currently are now to where someone else is in their journey, and their journey is way farther along than your journey.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm 100% agreeing with you. I think that if you're going to look at someone else's success, then you have to study the journey to understand the success before you sit and say, "Man, I should be there," because if you didn't go through the process or a similar process to what they had gone through, then you'll never be there. Then you shouldn't be there, and you can't say that I should be there. Right. And so that's why I say it's more of a study of a person's success as opposed to a comparison. Because when you're comparing a person, you're like Dom says, apples to oranges. If I'm an apple and I got seeds, and I'm an orange and I got seeds. If I put those seeds in the ground and I'm an apple expecting to become orange, it's not gonna work.
Exactly.
I'm mad he just hit us with some science right there.
Hey, but I mean that's just
what Chuck do.
But that's honestly the best analogy. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're gonna use comps, if you're gonna try to compare yourself, then compare yourself to someone in your position, like where you're at currently. And if you're going to do that, because honestly, I think comparisons are necessary. I think it's kind of a reality check. It's kind of like, okay, you're gauging what am I doing? Mm-hmm. Like if I'm not getting the same results as this guy over here, and he has done it, and we're in the same comparable situation,
right?
Then what is he doing more than what I'm doing?
It's like you said, perspective.
Right. So you have to kind of look at it like that, not like, I'm a terrible. No, it's more of like for a self-evaluation. I mean,
that's because people look at it and be like, oh, it's not fair.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
because
they're thinking life is supposed to be.
They all think it's
nowhere near got it, then I should have.
Yeah, right.
It don't work
because
that's not life at all.
People struggle with looking in the mirror. They struggle with saying, "What did I mess up with?"
Yep.
So instead of looking at that person and looking like, what all the stuff that they have, look at the journey. And the journey to me is more important than the end goal because at the end of the day, if you're gonna compare anything, compare the journey.
Yeah.
So the end goal may be different for everybody.
Yep.
Because it's almost like talking about what is success to everybody. But I'm a hard staunch proponent guy of hard work. And if you put in hard work, good things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
And the more work you put in, the greater the whatever your level of success is what you're going to reach.
Yeah.
But put good things in, good things come out. So
also, I think we also need to have a realistic perspective
Right.
on our expectations,
Right.
as well. A lot of times we think that, so we compare somebody. So like what we do is we'll compare to something or somebody that we see, not being realistic about the same opportunities that may have
Right.
been bestowed before them, and maybe not even just the same opportunities, but what type of resources and different things.
I was
Maybe you
just
just
about to say that.
things had to be done differently.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
They may not, like you said, the end goal may be different or the same, but how you get there just may be different,
Right.
and that's okay. It may take more time and different things like that. And I think, I feel like, man, it's just so many people that like we really like get lost, and like you said, in the journey, we forget that the journey even exists,
Right.
because everybody wants everything right now,
right.
We live in
Microwave.
that microwave.
That microwave,
Yeah,
Straight
we
up.
definitely talking about that
Honestly,
microwave
though,
society.
I think, and you know, I know it's a controversial topic. You know, one of the biggest comparisons in business and career success is the comparison of race,
Yeah,
and where certain racial cultures have to put in more effort
Right.
and show more of themselves to have the same level of success as some of the other racial cultures. So
Right.
I think a lot of comparisons we see in life stem from a level of success, and I think a lot of comparisons in success will come down to either a comparison of race,
yeah,
gender, age, right? Sometimes we'll look at an older person and be like, man, they got all this kind of success. I want success before I get to their level.
yeah.
But you have no clue how long it took them to get there.
Right, exactly. And you looking like, man, they got their ultimate success at 60. I want my ultimate success at 30, at 25.
But it took them
And you
40
genuinely
but it
have
took-
no idea what kind of hell they might have went
And
through
you got to think
to
about
get there.
They got the success at 60, like he said. Somebody got the success at 60. Cool.
Yeah,
But for all you know, it took them 40 years to even get to that point.
absolutely.
So it's a hard comparison. I mean, and like to piggyback what you said, like I think a lot of things. We said this before. Go back in our episodes. Go back. We said it before. Resources.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes it's not in certain communities, and they're not promoted as well as you would think, and sometimes they are in certain communities. That's life isn't fair.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but that's what happens. But that's what comes in the process or the journey that you have to take. You have to, if you want to compare yourself to somebody else saying, I need to do this, I need to do that, you need to understand what your resources are. You need to do the research to understand, like, how did they get here? What steps did they take?
Right.
Because if I got to take them steps, I need to understand what the process is to even get to those steps.
Yeah.
You just can't,
It's funny.
hop on a bike and just ride it. It don't happen that way.
I
Just be honest.
saw a video online. It was a woman. She was complaining that her friend, or she went to her friend asking her how or the steps she took to become successful in her business, because she wants to start a business. She wanted that advice so she can gain success in what she was doing. And her friend was like, well, I worked hard and right? Give you that generic answer of, if you just, keep at it.
just work hard.
Right,
Never quit.
right.
Never quit. Never quit.
I need the actual information.
Yeah.
But I think that pushes a person to want to compare themselves even more when you give them those generic answers.
Yeah.
Like if someone were to walk up to me and say, hey, Dion, what are the steps you took to become successful in the manner that you have? And I would have to, or I feel obliged to take them through any process that they need to go through so that they can have some sort of clarity on my process.
Yeah.
and so that they can take my process and use whatever they can from it for their process to gain their success. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that's going to stop that comparison from becoming a negative thing.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm only giving you a generic, then all you got to go off of is my final result compared to your final result.
Yep.
Hold on. Real quick. His name is Chuck.
Look, man, we've been going through this.
His name is
The man's name is Dion and Chuck, okay?
It's both.
I know y'all get confused sometimes.
I'm just
We
saying
slip
right
up and say Dion sometimes. We call him Chuck. It
is what it
he
is.
got multiple names.
But, but to y'all out there, his name is Chuck.
He just called himself Dion too.
Yeah.
He calls himself Chuck too all the time. Whatever. We don't know what his name is. That guy in the yellow hat.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. Dude who wear the hats all the time. All right, cool. Go ahead, Big G.
Hey, side note, I hope y'all enjoyed the background music we've been having. It's fantastic.
Y'all hear it.
I'm being serious. It's like a whole concert going on in the other room, and it's been great on my end. I've been enjoying it. I don't know about you guys, but anyway,
I've been trying not to show my expressions, but
you know what I'm saying. I'm
vibing.
kind of. If in case y'all can hear, y'all may not even be able to hear it, but I think y'all can. But I've been enjoying it.
It's
so
dope.
I just want to throw it out there.
All right, Big G.
So
I think he was going to rebuttal what
a
I
lot
had
of
to
things
say.
been said since my first
He
initial
all types of
thought.
confused. We done.
But basically piggybacking off of what Chuck has said.
Yeah. I'm just laughing because he Chuck Dion, whoever. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
at
just
the end of
that
the day, the thing about comparisons for me is like what you're saying. What he's saying is it. Yes, all that is true, but I still think it falls back on you as an individual. Because if someone tells me, if I go out and I ask for business advice, I'll use your example. I go out and ask for business advice because this happened, and they tell you, your whole generic, you work hard, determination, never quit. Cool. The situation with that is, if I let that conversation get me down, that's on me.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because honestly, I can take that right there, what they're saying, work hard, determination. Okay, determination means I'm going to take what you said. I'm going to find somebody else.
That's going to give me some real detailed information.
Yeah, hopefully they can give me something else.
Yeah.
And maybe a little piece of something else. Then I'm going to ask somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going. Because the thing is, there's always a reason as to why we can't.
Yeah.
We can speak for African American, black men, there's a reason that we can't succeed, for sure. You could throw the reason out. 100%.
I forgot what episode that was. Was it Crabs in the Barrel? Crabs
Right,
in the Bucket?
right. There's always a reason.
Go back in the catalog.
And as for us, we have more reasons than anybody else.
Yeah.
We have reasons as to why. But that doesn't mean we can't.
Absolutely.
I think
not.
they forget that
absolutely
part. They forget
not.
that part.
Right. So the way I look at it is, again, it goes back to hard work. We can talk about the issues with us not getting information and the opportunities, but the opportunities are there. We just got to work harder to get them.
No, I agree.
So while we talk about it, we got to go get the information. Though. I mean, we got to go out there and we got to put the foot to the pavement, one foot in front of the other, and we have to go and get it done.
100%. Because if you ain't doing your part,
right,
it's
right.
not beneficial.
So
at
I'm
all.
saying, when we start back to the comparison thing. So if we comparing ourselves to them, again, the situation. Yes, the opportunity, but I don't care about the opportunity.
Yeah.
I want to know the work you put in.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously we all know. In every jobs, it's hard to just apply for a job and get it. You almost got to know people to do anything.
Especially now.
But that's opportunity.
I'll say the phrase is not true when they say opportunity presents itself.
Right.
It's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to happen.
You have to be ready when it does.
Exactly.
So the thing is, we don't have as many of them. So we don't have time to be doing too much comparison.
Talk to him, Big G.
So if the comparison you're doing is counterproductive,
Wow.
you're only setting your own stuff back. That's just the way I look at it. So unless you're going to be doing, like I talked about earlier, some productive comparisons and seeing their journey and trying to figure out what work they put in, it's not useful to you.
Yeah.
Because we already know the struggle we face
Yeah.
And all that's doing is slowing you down. Unless you go and walk and chew gum. Like if you can do that and work, be my guest and do both. But if you just gonna focus on that, then you're doing your own self a disservice.
I can chew gum and hoop at the same time.
Hey, I'm just saying.
But
I ain't got the skills for that.
here's
You
the
don't want to do
thing,
yourself a
though,
disservice. That's all.
right? And continue what you're talking about. If I'm going to say person A, his journey was a little easier.
Right.
He's reached success in the eyes of a person B, but this person's journey is still going. Like he hasn't reached his success.
Right.
But
He hasn't accomplished success like
to
success,
person B, he's already there.
Yeah.
Now, there are plenty of people out there who have had success thrown onto them.
Right.
Right.
Right. Things left behind for them from relatives.
With the air quotation stuff, for real.
Right. Things, opportunities, laid at their feet, blessings here and there. And then you have person B who is constantly going through the process, constantly struggling, constantly,
Right.
And having fewer opportunities in between.
Right.
And so they look back at this person and they go to this person, say, hey, what's your key to success? Well, this person's going to say, yeah, just work hard. Just
Right.
Because they don't really have the answer for person B because they can't relate.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were talking about before: is finding the right comparable person.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not the person you should be taking comps from.
Here's the problem in the capitalist society that we live in. Right.
Right.
You're going to look for the most successful person and say, I want to benchmark myself with that person.
Right.
And that's what most people do.
Right.
They don't look for that second tier, third tier, fourth tier person and say, hey, I want to benchmark myself with you.
Yeah. Right.
Even though there are people that are on a higher level of success than you are.
Yep. And that's why we got a problem we have.
Absolutely. But those people that are on those tiers are going to relate to that one person B
Right.
A little bit more than that top tier person.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're asking them to go out and instead of looking at the people who got billions of dollars that we idolize and wanting to be like and wanting to have that level of success.
Right.
Instead of going to look at that person and seeing their opportunities and seeing their process, because their process may have just been, their parents, loaned them $1 million
Right.
to start a business.
Right.
And they became a billionaire. But then you got this person who became
And the president.
a millionaire who started off with nothing,
Right.
with less than nothing,
Right.
The phrase of "got it out the mud" be real right there.
right?
Right.
But we gonna look at that billion and say, oh, they more successful than you,
Right.
But if I'm a compare a benchmark, I'm not gonna compare mine,
Right.
I'm gonna compare yours and his,
Right.
because I'm gonna say, all right, you went from 0 to a mil, you went from a mil to a bill, right? But your bill, you got from a mil that you never had to pay back,
Right.
connections that were already there,
Right.
opportunities that were waiting on you, and things that just fell in place.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not to say that you didn't have to do any hard work. You had to do hard work to put it all together.
Right.
But all them opportunities was already there.
Yeah.
Now let me go to this guy that got 0. He had to get the money first by working hard to get it.
Right.
He had to put himself in a position to obtain an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Then get the opportunity.
Then he had to fight to get the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he had to take that opportunity and fight to make it a success.
Right.
Yeah.
And then keep it.
And then he had to fight to keep it. Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna say who's the better man in terms of success, I'm gonna say that guy. I'm gonna say the second guy. Why? Because he had to do more to get to the level of success than the other guy. Now, if the roles were reversed, I would be inclined to believe that the other guy wouldn't be as successful.
I think it just ultimately comes back to what we mentioned some episodes ago or whatever.
Go back in the catalog.
About what we define as success too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do we only define success as this certain status or this amount of money?
Right.
Or do we define success by having that constant flow of money and not necessarily how much money, but being at a certain, of course, there's going to be a certain standard you're looking for, but do we, like you just said, you value his success far more than the other guy's success because of what may have been done and the things that he had to do to get there and where he came from.
Right.
And some people, and I think that's where we get lost, or just as a general public, we get lost in, we see that final thing and we just assume that success is more important.
Right.
Or that success means more because he has more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, we're in a capitalist society. All we think about is capital. How much capital do we have?
Right.
Which ultimately people don't understand too. Anybody would, and I know you all have some intelligence, so you guys know. Anybody
a lot
who
of
has-
intelligence.
Anybody who has understanding that the dollar amount doesn't necessarily define Dom kind of threw me off a little bit. The dollar amount doesn't necessarily define. I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say. What'd you say?
Equate.
It doesn't necessarily. Okay, I got it back. All right, sorry. It doesn't necessarily define how you. Nope, I don't. So
It doesn't define your happiness. Basically, essentially, is what you're.
it doesn't define your success.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's not what I was going to, but that's where we're
Pretty
ending.
much.
Yeah.
So no, that's where I'm coming to it. But like it doesn't necessarily. I just know that people always think that how much money you have defines success, and I think that's ignorant.
Completely.
It's ignorant, And so we try to compare to that, and it's like an ignorant comparison will take you nowhere.
Like I would never say you will never be Jeff Bezos, or that's his name, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking
Yeah,
about
like I would
Amazon, right?
Richest man in the world.
I would never say I can't say you would never do that because who knows? You possibly have the greatest idea in the world to do that. But I just want like what Chuck's saying, and like even G, you need to have a realistic perspective on where you're at. If like you can't say I'm gonna be like him in 10 years. I mean, real life, who knows what's gonna happen in 10 years? But you have to put yourself in position, you know what I'm saying, to even do that. Like, I agree with Chuck. I'm not gonna compare myself to him immediately because there's no way right now.
It's levels to it.
Right, there is no way.
There are so many levels.
You know what I'm
between
saying?
me and Jeff Bezos.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
So many.
Not even
many
the vice
levels.
president, not the CFO. Drop down some.
So many
Become the
levels.
manager of just one warehouse, and then we can have a conversation.
Work at Amazon.
I'm gonna say I'm more like the line manager.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
See,
work there first.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things I think we need to have.
Wow.
In perspective.
I'm just saying, Jeff Bezos got a lot of money. Man, make more than $1 million a day.
I mean, that's
This is facts. But what I'm
he ain't
saying
even
is,
the CEO no more. But that's neither.
What I'm saying
And
is
he's
like,
still making more money.
you got
right.
I can't deal with that.
I'm sorry, we stepping on toes here, like our
My
own
bad.
toes, because we don't know what we saying. Go ahead.
No, but it's just like you gotta. If you want to make sure you have a realistic comparison. You want to make sure like you're. I'm not saying it's not real, but at your point in time where you're at right now, you want to have a realistic view of what the next step is or where you want to be right now.
Yeah.
Don't think, I want to be like somebody who took 30 years to get where they're at, regardless, or 10 years. It doesn't matter. The fact is, if they're not in a position that you're in right now, that's not the person you need to actually conversate with.
Yeah.
How about this, right? We drilled down on comparing success. How about we have issues with comparing each other? So for example, there are people out there that feel their appearance
Yeah.
is less than.
That's a big
a big
comparison.
one.
That's probably the
Right.
biggest comparison of all.
When you
Honestly.
have self-esteem issues and you get on social media
Yeah.
and you see all the people that you assume to be just beautiful people, and you look like, dang, why can't I be like that? You know,
Or in the black culture, we like to talk about the light skins. But go ahead.
right.
But for me, this all ties in. No, it does though, because even what you said goes back to what I said at the beginning. If you're looking at that person out of the lens of the, as I said, perspective, that, oh man, look at them.
Yep.
Not the journey. See, the journey's what's gonna get you there. But you're looking at, oh man, look, you could look like that.
Yeah.
You gotta do what they do though.
But
people don't want to do it
like that.
They weren't born like that. You have to put the work in. I can't. You have to put the work in. Some people metabolism. I'll give you that. Some people metabolism.
You weren't born like that.
Some people metabolism
Per him.
go up and down. Oh, you just come out the room look like the Rock. Yeah, okay. The Rock puts the work in to look like the Rock. The Rock didn't always look like that.
I ain't talking about like a build. I'm talking like just period. Like you. I mean,
No, but
there's
that's for a general example.
there-
Like,
No, but that's a good example.
That's a general
That's a very
example,
good
though.
example.
Because people don't realize The Rock worked hard. You know what I'm saying?
still
Just as an example.
Yes,
he
but-
still puts in the work.
But that's my point. Is like his body transformation. He did just look, just slim guy. Look
chunky.
Look muscular.
He was a
Exactly.
little chunky.
He was actually the
That
opposite.
too.
Yeah, he was
Exactly.
chunky.
So, and he took his body from that all the way to this. And what I'm saying is, like, it even goes back to the conversation about the rich guy with the money and the poor guy trying to get money. Mm-hmm. It goes back to I can't judge either one, because now this guy had the money when he was born. So that's his baseline. Mm-hmm. The other guy didn't have money when he was best. That's his baseline. So the money, that's all he know. So success for him is gonna look different than success for the guy
that's what I was
at the
saying.
bottom.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm saying, so for him, so I can't say like this guy may have worked hard. I don't know what this guy, because for success for him might not even be money. And if it is money, it's probably way more than $1 million.
Yes,
I mean,
But that's what I was. The point.
they
I
have
made
different
at the
challenges. Is
beginning,
what I'm saying.
right?
Like the challenges are different. It's just it's different. It's different obstacles they gonna have to face versus the obstacles that someone without money is gonna have to face.
True, but like what Dom said, sometimes we look at a person's success and we be like, man, I want that success. But what you just said makes complete sense, because if that person if that's their baseline,
right?
What my success is their baseline,
right?
And I'm looking at them like, dang, I want your success. How you get it? Oh, I already had this.
Right.
This is what I started with.
Right.
But then you looking like, dang man, I want to be successful like you, and they like, I'm not successful,
right?
Because I haven't met where I wanted to be.
Yeah, because they have dreams and goals as well.
But you know what? A lot of people had that issue too, though. That guy will ask the guy who had money already, how did you get there? And he'll say, I already got there. And then people will stop. It comes back to your point earlier, where instead of just going further and trying to figure out more, they'll stop right there and they'll be like, oh, well, I can't do that then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because now I'm comparing myself to him already, because I'm thinking about the resources and where he started. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't start there, so there's no way I
can't get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, which isn't true.
Right. There's so many rich
I'll
people
be
feel
honest.
themselves.
I'm be honest.
I mean,
if I was in the person's shoes asking the rich man who started as a rich man how to get rich, and he told me that he was already rich, I'm gonna be like, well, who gave you your riches?
Right.
Let me talk to them.
It had to start somewhere.
It had to start somewhere.
right. That's
So, like you said earlier, you just have to find that
you gotta keep going.
that's going to tell you, or that's going to be able to give you that information.
Yeah.
And so there's so many different ways to compare.
We just want to let y'all know we dropping dimes right now.
Yeah,
I
just
hope
think
y'all writing this down, because we dropping dimes.
I think success for a poor person, or not even poor, just a person of in a less stature than a rich person.
Yeah.
Probably will be wealth. A wealthy person's success probably isn't wealth.
It's probably happiness.
Exactly. People without less money is probably more than likely happier than them people who have all the money. Born into rich families, a lot of those people have a lot of issues, a lot of family issues.
Expectations,
A whole not a love ain't probably involved. Not a lot of family get-togethers and all that stuff. I'm not saying everybody, but that's a culture thing amongst rich folks.
Yeah.
And we're not saying race. We're saying like rich people. Like, well, that's not a color.
And people
That's
with
not a
lesser
color.
stature the love and the togetherness a lot of the time is there. You know, y'all all bond together.
'Cause that's
try to
all
get-
you got.
That's all you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't quote unquote need that. They don't need to push each other up and trying
They
to.
never had to.
No,
Because they're all already
they
there.
don't need it. I'm gonna say they don't realize they want it until they.
Well, that's what I'm
Until they
saying.
look back and like, dang, I wish I'd have had
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Like they don't.
or when they're trying to
Well, I
get
should
to
say
the
this,
success, or they're
they don't
trying to
think.
succeed.
They don't think they need it. They don't need
why I
to
say
lean
coach.
on anybody
Yep.
until
Yeah.
it's almost too late, and then no one really. They never cultivated any of those relationships.
Absolutely.
Right,
Because
right.
they never had to be in that tough time early.
But this is why I had a conversation with
just different.
in my group chat with my brothers and stuff like that last night. We were talking about something completely different that we're talking about, but the point was it was mentioned that like, oh, they got rich people problems. It sounds like
Right.
rich people problems to me, and so I just kind of took that and I told him, I was just like, well, rich people have problems too,
Right.
Like they do. No, don't get me wrong.
Just different problems.
Most of us would prefer to
have
have
their
the
problems.
rich people problems.
But the thing is, we say
I
that
said,
now.
and like I said, most because we really don't know
Yeah,
what their problems
exactly.
are
I ain't trying to-
unless you're there.
I don't want to get audited.
So I'm not.
No, I don't want to speak my tax returns.
Wow. So, so no, and then again, I've never been rich before, so I don't know what actual problems they have.
Right.
Right.
So I can't even say, but we think. I'll say that we think we'd rather have their problems.
Right.
We really have no idea.
Facts.
Because people, how many times has it been said, more money, more problems? Like, you know what I'm saying?
They
More
don't
like-
say that for no reason. These are people with money.
Seriously.
More than like these are rappers.
Yeah.
Who's saying this. People who was broke.
Because they've experienced both. They know.
And then they got money, and they're telling you more money.
I think that's
more
a
problems.
perspective thing.
I think it is too.
Oh, no, I 100% agree. I definitely think. And you know what? No, I can't say that.
I'm not gonna say-
I actually disagree with that because
let's give it a word
the
more.
reason
I can't say more
reason why
problems.
I agree that when it's more money, it's more problems. It's just simply because there's more responsibility, and when more responsibility, that's ultimately what it comes down to. More responsibility
think-
causes more.
I think it's when
I don't think problem is the best word, but
I think it's when you start with less and I want to say almost instantly gain more or obtain a substantial amount of wealth. Or I'm not even going to say wealth because wealth isn't necessarily equated to simply money.
Right.
I'm going to
Agreed.
say you obtain a lot more money,
Right.
right? At in a shorter period of time than what's normal. Right, and so you start to realize the amount of issues or problems that come along with having that amount of money.
yeah,
Right.
I think for someone who is established in their wealth, right, not only money but connections and power and people around them that are supporting them. I think the level of issues that you have is actually less. So that's why I say it's a perspective thing, because once you're established in anything you do, the issues start to fade away, or at least not fade away, but they become more manageable. And so
I
they
agree
become
with it.
less of an issue or a problem and more of something just to be dealt with.
I agree with it from the perspective point of view. Like when you're talking about if you're depending on their perspective, I do think most people's perspectives are off though. So that's why I think there comes more problems.
I give you that.
Because they don't know how to handle their extra responsibility.
Well, I say like this.
You know what I mean?
I say like this. Like you say, more money, more problems. Yeah, we know that was a quote. That was a big quote. But
Fire bar.
facts. But like I wouldn't say more money, more problems. I think the fact is when they say more money, more problems, I think the issue is like kind of piggybacking off a truck. It's like you never solved the original problem before you got to that certain level or that financial level. Because at that point, yeah, more money, more problems. But did you did you solve the problem before? Did you even, you know what I'm saying, when something happened instantly, let's say like people get, like that one single, all you trying to do is get $1 million. That's what a lot of rappers do, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They try to get that $1 million single.
Right.
Okay, cool. So I get this $1 million, I'm about to go buy gold. But did you do anything you were supposed to do before you even got there? You know what I'm saying? All the problems you had before you got that million.
Well, that's
Did
it,
you
and
do
that's
anything?
and I think that comes to people not really learning how to. I feel like we got way off comparison, but people not learning how to compare. Compare, and I'm saying compare. They don't know how to manage what they had prior to even getting quick money. And so, just going to what you were just talking about,
that's what
and that's why they I get what you're saying. So they didn't take care of that issue before they got the instant money. So now they have instant money, and they still don't know how to take care of money, even though they got more of it now.
So now they got that issue, and they got more issues coming up.
But there's a reason why. So this goes back to why the more money, more problems is correct. It's because money isn't the problem.
Right.
That's why. And people who are broke think it is.
Yep.
And then they get the money and realize, oh, I'm still not happy.
And that's why they end up broke.
I actually got more issues now.
Yeah.
When the money came.
The only perspective.
No, because the
I
thing
think you're
is,
proving my point, because you're saying that it's only the people who initially had the problem of not being able to manage money. Now, if I know how to manage money, let's say I'm an accountant, I'm still broke in comparison to the rich man, right? I don't have millions on millions sitting in the account. Now, let's say this accountant goes and wins the lottery. Do you think he's going to blow all his money? No. He's an accountant. He knows how to manage his money. He's going to invest. He's going to put some away. He's going to do things to allow it to grow. But that solves his problem. Now, if I
yeah, but that's one
other problem.
Right, my life's full of them.
That's what I'm saying.
What we're saying is money, getting more money, so you solve one problem and gain like 10.
Yeah,
that's
not always the case.
It's not always the case.
That's my point. People get to a point.
What?
That's not always the point. You're saying you say you get 10. You don't always get 10 problems.
I think he's just being generic, but still.
I have a question. Are all of your problems rooted in money?
Yeah, I'm
right here today. All of your problems rooted in money.
Absolutely.
But see, all of your problems are rooted in money.
Hey, look, I'm saying.
Wow. Interesting.
I'm 100% with you. I have no other problems right now outside of a lack of money.
Cool.
Sleep.
And that's my point. No other problems outside of money. So you get money. Mm-hmm. You think we'll have any more problems?
You're never gonna have problems.
You think problems gonna come with the money?
I'm not. Listen.
I'm asking. So that means you only got one problem. It's money.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing.
Hold on.
Because I think we bubbling.
They didn't answer the question,
right?
No, they didn't.
I'm about to answer the question. I'm about to answer the question.
I got you.
Right? You're trying to make it seem as to say that throughout the rest of my life, I'm never gonna have another problem if I get $1 billion right now. I'm not saying that.
Nah, that's what I said.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if I get $1 billion right now, and in 5 minutes, I'm having zero problems. Why? Because all my stuff paid. I get to set my future out. I get to help my family.
Right.
I get to do all these wonderful things.
5 minutes.
That money did not bring me no problems.
At that particular second, no. I'm gonna be very happy if I got $1 billion. In the first 5 minutes, I'm gonna be happy.
Cool.
Because you're not gonna notice the problems yet.
No,
that's the thing.
No,
the problems arise.
That's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like if I'm like a lot of times what we do
just turned
as
into a real
people
debate,
who
y'all.
don't
Sorry.
have $1 billion, we sit and compare ourselves to what we would do with $1 billion
compared
to what someone who already has $1 billion has,
right,
or does, right.
But this is the assumption that everybody with $1 billion is happy.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that everybody with $1 billion is happy. I know everybody with $1 billion is not happy.
So
what I'm saying is,
by y'all standards, they should be though.
No,
they shouldn't be.
We never said that.
They telling you that.
Hold on, I got it.
A bunch of problems come with this money.
More problems don't
You're saying
come.
that money comes with more problems. I'm saying that it does not. I'm saying you're still having problems,
They
but
ain't
you.
got no money. The people with money telling us that they got problems with the
Man,
money.
a little money.
No, I said we ain't got no money like that.
We ain't got the money we talking
Rich
about.
people telling us
not.
Rich
there's
people
a
have
problem.
said they have
comes with the money.
They have historically said over time. Many people have said that when and we talking about people that have come from broke. Okay, people that have had nothing,
But that's exactly
and they got
what I
money.
just said.
They have taught, but I'm saying many of them have spoke about having, and they're not broke now. They still know how to manage their money,
Yeah, that's
but
not
they
the
still
issue.
have had more issues come when they've gained more money.
What about trust?
Because
But that's
you
what I'm-
lose trust is a big.
You don't even
big-
know who
big
you
problem.
can trust. People could be here just for your money.
That's the
relationships.
That's the whole point I made, right? If I'm coming from broke, if I've obtained a larger amount of money over a shorter period of time, yes, I'm gonna have more problems. If I'm wealthy and I've been wealthy for generations, I don't have more problems. I've got less problems. Why? Because I've established myself in my wealth. And I don't see those as problems anymore, but as things to do.
I'm not saying that.
So-
I'm not saying that one. I'm not saying that one.
I feel like we're going to not have this resolved in this episode.
We going to a rabbit hole right now.
So we're gonna have
We
another
have-
episode about this.
We go down the rabbit hole again. Don't worry.
Well, you know we like to go down the rabbit hole every now and again. So I do appreciate you all. We definitely we're coming to an end. It's been a good. I appreciate the debate. I know it still kind of wraps into comparison, and I know we kind of went into something to leave even deeper with it. But I do, want you all to know, you don't have to compare yourself in a negative way to other people, or don't think that you have to be somebody else that you see.
Be realistic.
Have realistic goals, have a mindset to want to dig deeper and try to figure out how you can get there, the journey, the process.
By the way,
appreciate the process.
I don't want to keep saying realistic goals, realistic benchmarks, because you can still get to Jeff Bezos. I don't want to say nobody can't get there, but you have to have realistic
trying to go
benchmarks
beyond
on how to reach that.
But the reason, I'll just rebuttal that. The reason why I say realistic goals is I'm saying realistic. When I say goals, I'm thinking of right now
Short
goals.
time goals. Short.
So
Okay,
I'm
short-term-
thinking
okay,
really short-term goals.
Okay,
We'll
yeah,
say
I'm
that.
trying to be
That's
like
fine.
the Schultz family.
Okay.
Schultz
So anyways-
family, trillionaires.
All right. So
Y'all ain't
That's-
up on the Schultz family.
that's
Schultz,
enough
the
for.
Wades.
That's Chuck signing off. As the rest of us
Mike is getting muted.
are going to sign off from Boys to Men.
They got money.
Thank
I get
you
my
all.
600 billion.
We appreciate you all for coming through. Check us out on the next episode. Well, I'll let you guys later.
No, that's me for no money.
One.